DK Metcalf suspended 2 games for his altercation or cheap shot with a fan. Question is, should he be suspended more than 2 games? Not enough. Will he appeal it? Probably not. He's missing $500K in game checks. This is devastating for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a stupid move by DK Metcalf, losing control and absolutely making the Steelers look like morons for letting Pickens go, inking DK to a long-term deal, and now being left with what you see in front of you right now. Huge, devastating impact to the Pittsburgh Steelers and all the big games they've got coming up. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
I don't know how much the NFLPA has to do with this in terms of a precedent. They can't go over an excessive amount of games based on precedent. But if I was the commissioner, I'd suspend him for the rest of the season through the playoffs. Don't let him play again in 2025 and in the 2025-2026 playoffs. I wouldn't let him play again this year. And that would be the punishment for putting hands on a fan. I am honestly shocked that it's 2 games. It should be more. This should impact, and it probably will. It probably will make them not advance. It's probably going to affect a lot. So we'll have to see how this, we'll see what happens in the final 2 games. But I would 100% be making a statement. You cannot allow players to put hands on fans, especially if it was in this context where the fan wasn't trying to strike DK. You know, if someone's striking at a player and they're defending themselves, completely different thing. Like in the Lamar Jackson, remember that situation where there was like a headbutt, there was a hit on the head. It's completely different. But when you literally grab a fan, pull him down by the hair or the wig, whatever it was, and then strike him in the face, you should be out for the rest of the season. And be out indefinitely with a commissioner needing to have meetings with you. You go through anger management. You go through all these embarrassing things that he should go through in order to then get the commissioner to say, okay, under a probationary period, you can come back next year in weeks 1, 2, 3, if you go through this set of processes. And you're going to have to go through anger management all year. You're going to have to go through all these hoops to embarrass the hell out of you so this never happens again. This is crazy to me that DK Metcalf's getting away with a 2-game suspension and not being suspended for longer. I think it's kind of an embarrassment for the league, but you have to set a precedent for this. And the fan, according to the reports, all the fan did was call him by his legal name. It reminds me of the phone call we had earlier. You call someone by their legal name, they get really upset. But anyway, DK was, he called him by his full name, didn't say DK, and DK pulled him down and then struck him in the face. Now, maybe there were some other words said, but who cares? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if somebody says the worst disgusting things to you. You are a player that needs to be in a certain sort of professionalism to say, this is what I signed up for. Heckling, going to get screamed at from the sideline. Someone might say something about my mother. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's words. You grab this fan down, you strike him. This is a mockery. 2 games, he should be out for the remainder of the season. And set a precedent that if you ever lay hands on a fan again, this is like the Artest thing. You can't have it. The NFL can't have it. I don't understand how it's 2 games. Unbelievable. But anyway, DK, the impact of this is great. The impact is crazy. And what a disappointment he is to his team. What a disappointment he is to his city. What a disappointment he is, period. And watching George Pickens, now granted, it's not like the Cowboys are marching through the playoffs or anything. But watching George Pickens have so much success and watching that they got rid of a top 5 to 10 wide receiver talent-wise. Maybe he's not number 5 in fantasy because of so many big names, but he certainly could dance in the top 5. Obviously, we saw that this year. But he's a top 5 to 10 talent-wise wide receiver. DK's a one-dimensional pony. that can go down the field, wave his hands up in the air, and have Aaron Rodgers sling it in his direction, and he jump balls a defender and grabs it, pulls it in, and does what DK does. That's what DK is. He's a one-trick pony, and Pickens is a top 5 to 10 wide receiver. And this is unbelievable and embarrassing and just par for the course for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Aaron Rodgers has got to be pretty disappointed. I'm also very disappointed. This reminds me of the Oscars, too, when Will Smith walked up and smacked Chris Rock, and the security didn't grab Will Smith and escort him out of the building. And so you're done. You're gone. Doesn't matter if you're an actor on the floor. You do this, the security's there for that reason, no matter who's causing this sort of chaos or controversy. DK should have been grabbed by the security guard, slammed into the ground, and walked out of the facility, walked out of the stadium, walked into the detention area. That's what should have happened. And it's kind of an embarrassment that this, and if it was me, I would be so infuriated with, and again, I don't care if I'm not worried about DK striking me. He's going to get a payday too. But it's an embarrassment that everybody just let it happen because he's a player. He's on the field. He should have been escorted out of the stadium. So unbelievable. Yeah, if you saw the sideline guy, the sideline security guy, he just sat there like a slug. He should be fired immediately for not putting DK Metcalf in some sort of detention. Because DK should have been marched off the field immediately. So unbelievable. This really gets me upset. Frankly, it gets me very, very upset to watch this happen. But 2 games, it's gonna put a nail in the coffin in the Steelers, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. They're obviously getting a lot of unbelievable production out of their rushing attack. Gainwell as a receiver, Gainwell as a rusher, Jalen Warren as a receiver and a rusher. This is a very dynamic rushing attack, but defenses now will say, let's hone in on that. Let's focus in on that, and let's shut this offense down. I have a feeling Aaron Rodgers is going to look like a man that wants to retire, that should retire, that probably ends up getting hurt in the next 2 games because he's forced to do so much in order to, anyway. So, we'll see. Tyler, don't even try to defend DK Metcalf. Don't even try it, bro. Let's take some callers, and we'll be back. We're not going to stay here through the 8 p.m. show. We'll definitely be back right before kickoff. We'll do some Q&A, and let's have at it. Dial into the phone line. Here's the phone line. Hit it.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Doesn't even matter what the fan said. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he said the most awful thing in the world. You got to set a precedent as an NFL and as a facility, as a security guard, as field security. You have to set a precedent that it doesn't matter if he yells the worst things you can possibly conjure up about his mom, about his grandma, about everybody. If he said everything about every family member he had, DK Metcalf had zero right to put hands on player, walk over to player, grab player, pull down, or I'm sorry, fan, pull fan down, player walks over to fan, even if he leans over to talk to him, grabs him, pulls him down, smacks him in the face. Don't come in here and try and defend DK Metcalf. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself. Everybody, anybody defending, I see a couple of you, anybody defending DK Metcalf, you're embarrassing yourself. Whether you're right or wrong, you're wrong. You're always the GOAT. Look forward to an exciting offseason. Thank you. Big Profit dropping a $100 hauler. Appreciate Big Profit doing it live. Doing it live.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy. Doing it live. Thank you, Big Profit. Big Profit going to the, let's send him to Jupiter. There you go.
To Jupiter.
There you go. What's this here from C-Dub? C-Dub says down 14, have Purdy, they have Kittle. Down 14? Problem is, those will neutralize each other a little bit, but it's possible Kittle doesn't do much and Purdy has a big day. I would say you're like 40% chance to win, I would say, but which isn't crazy. It's not unattainable, you know. Big Profit, thank you, Dub, and then Mr. T, DK, and Stevenson met at the Chick-fil-A after the game. Or DK and Steven, I got you. Mr. T. Appreciate you. Yeah, I love anybody trying to defend this situation. It's absolutely ludicrous. You're embarrassing yourself. It doesn't matter. Oh, he shouldn't have said anything. Like, this isn't two buddies at a bar. You know. And I appreciate you, Silver. I'm not calling you out specifically or anything like that. I'm just telling you, this is, I don't, look, I think some of us consider ourselves tough guys. You know, you run into someone at the bar, you know, somebody knocks your hat off, or you're going to go, oh, I'm going to get called my attorney. And, you know, like, remember when, who was it that knocked someone's hat off? Was that AB? Who was it that did that? You know? But it's crazy to me that somebody's gonna act like this is okay. Silver says you are embarrassing yourself for acting like he punched him or something. I'm not embarrassing anything, Silver. I'm not embarrassed at all. Do I look embarrassed? I don't feel embarrassed at all. And I wasn't even talking about you, but you want to bring it to me, Silver, that's your choice. Fantasy Rhino, appreciate you. Gunner Player of the Week, Pickens and Wilson. Gunner Player of the Week, Pickens and Wilson. Wilson was the Gunner Player. Who were the Gunner Players of the Week?
The Gunner Player
yeah,
of the
they
Week.
Were.
Brought to you
Pickens
by
and Wilson.
Gunner.com.
Absolute celebration fest.
Mashed potatoes!
Both of them landed. Both came through. You're right. I didn't even think to check on that. Thank you, Rhino, for dropping that. Those were great calls for sure. Thank you, Rhino. Appreciate you. Even if there's audio proof that the fan used, you can't strike the fans. Act like an adult. I don't understand why anybody's even defending this. It's ridiculous. Like, this is not at a bar and two dudes go up against, you know, each other and they have a little discussion, have a few swipes, have a little hands fest, and then at the end it's over. Big deal. Two men, grown men, walk away. This is a stadium. This is security. This is the security's fault. This is the NFL needing to take a stand. These are fans. These are players. It's a complete separation of church and state. This is not the same conversation that I think Silver's trying to have, or anybody's trying to have. I mean, this is not about who's a man. Oh, man enough. That's not this conversation. This is about a business being run a proper way. And you set a precedent as a business. You can't have players putting hands. If anything, DK should be suspended indefinitely and to be reviewed to come back into the league next year. That's what should happen. Anytime a player puts their hands on a fan in this context, they should be suspended indefinitely and need to jump through hoops of embarrassment to get back into the league. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. This is not about two dudes, like I said, bumping into each other. You spilled my beer at a bar and we're going to have words and be men about it. This is not that. This is about running a business properly. So that fan's going to get paid, though. That's for sure. It makes the NFL look like a circus. It does, and the NFL not only looks like a circus with this, but they're completely out of pocket making this just a 2-game suspension. And the impact of it almost could take the Steelers out of, these are huge games, so like you almost could just say this is for the rest of the season. It would be the same thing, and they could take a hardline stance, but it really wouldn't have it wouldn't have impacted any more games, and you could then say, well, we did this. We took a hard stance on it. But they didn't take a hard stance. They took a soft stance. We've come a long way since duels on the street. But see, that's not even the thing, though, Big Prophet. Like, that's what I think Silver's trying to argue. When Silver's saying, I'm embarrassing myself. I'm not embarrassing myself. I think anybody defending this is embarrassing themselves. But we've come a long way. And you're right. In the duels on the street, I still agree with. Like, that's the way I feel. You know, like, I think, you know, you should be able to have that kind of world, but not in the context of your business. You can't have guys at the Apple store having you look at a phone and you go, oh, that's a stupid color. And the Apple store employee smacks the guy across the back of the head. I don't care if it's an open hand, not a closed fist. You can't have it. What are you going to do? Suspend them for a couple weeks and have them come back? What would that business do? What would Apple do if the employee smacked one of the customers across the head because they're like, you guys have stupid colors and watches? Boom, right across the back of the head. What would happen? Employee would be gone, never to work at Apple again. Why is the NFL? Money. Why is the NFL letting DK Metcalf even return to work, let alone 2 days later? Money. But see, Silver, you're trying to define the level of hit. You're trying to define Silver. For you could probably take a punch right in the noggin, bro. Right square in the nose. You just take another sip and say, hit me, another, sir. Do it again. You get another free shot. But Silver, you're not that fan. That fan is not you. This fan might not be as tough as you. This fan needs to be protected no matter what they're saying. Doesn't matter if they're spewing the biggest garbage, worst comments ever about his grandma, his mom, his wife, his kids. Doesn't matter. They're words being said. And you can't have players putting hands on fans. It doesn't matter if it's an open hand, closed hand, slap, nudge in the face, whatever. It was a strike to the person's head. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. You're trying to defend this outside of the context of this business being run. Silver, you can't strike the customer and expect to still work at the Apple store. It should be no different just because these guys make so much money and it's all about money for the NFL. That's it, plain and simple. I think some of you that are trying to argue, like, be tougher than this, that's not what I'm saying. I feel like that too outside of this conversation. I think this world's gotten really soft. I think that it's very, very soft. I think everybody cries like little babies about everything. But this is a business. This is a different mindset. This is a different conversation. And anybody acting like this shouldn't be worse than 2 games, you're not thinking like a business. That's plain and simple. This is a ridiculous conversation. Makes NFL look like a circus. Yes, sir. Appreciate you with the super chat or the message D Showtime. Caleb with a $20 hauler, my boy.
Alert. Super chat alert.
All right. This one here from Caleb. 1 seed scored 177 on the bye, projected to win by 40 and didn't break 90 to get lose Brissett, Achane, Bijan, Buka, Nico, McBride. How did this team lose? I don't know. I feel the same way about a couple teams. It's crazy, you know, especially like Gibbs and 2 weeks of Gibbs not exploding. Josh Allen, like there's so many players. McBride did nothing. It is unbelievable. Nico got neutralized for a big part of the game. Achane was not as explosive as we talked about being the case. You know, even though he's amazing and he did amazing things with what he was given, they didn't dump off to him like Tua is used to. So, you know, that's why I was saying we almost want Tua to stay in the lineup indefinitely because we don't know what Achane is going to get reception-wise going forward. Thank you for the $20 hauler. Get ready for 2026. I know you might have a league or 2 left, but regardless, we're going to be absolutely crushing the 2026 content. It's going to be amazing up in here. Alan, you're live. Maybe the audio's not working, Alan. Hold on 1 second, bro. Let me see if I can get the audio going. Just hang tight, Alan. I can't hear you. So 1 second. Should be able to switch the audio over. There you go. Alan, you're live. I can hear you now.
Cancel Alan, put New Age on the line.
Oh, New Age. What's up, New?
No, I was going to say, honestly, I think for a man to smack another is more insulting than I'd rather get punched than smacked. So that's kind of the point where, I mean, that would piss me off more if somebody did that, you know?
Yeah, but again, I think people are missing the point on this debate. The ones that are arguing it. This is a soft world we live in. Truly believe that. I think we should be able to, on the streets, if someone was to, let's say something bad about your girl and you punch them in the face, and then and then that's it. There's no, oh, you're going downtown. Like, it's just like you open your mouth, you play a big boy game. This is talking about what the NFL should do. If DK and this guy were walking down the street outside the facility and he started running his mouth, I believe we should, and we don't though. We should live in a world where you can defend honor and all that stuff. I believe that. I think this world's crazy. But you're talking about in the confines of this situation, DK Metcalf should be suspended indefinitely by the NFL for saying you cannot open this can of worms. What precedent does this set that you can strike a fan and get a 2-game suspension? That is insane. From a business perspective, there's two different angles here. I'm not talking about on the streets. I'm not talking about DK getting out of his car and some guy running up to him, putting his finger in his face, or I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about you're in your uniform, you're in the middle of a game, you walk to the sidelines, grab a guy, and do whatever, even if it's a slap, nudge, whatever. Done. You're done for the year. You're done for the year. As a business, you're done for the year. On the streets of Seattle, doesn't matter. I'm not concerned myself with that. Probably still going to get in trouble, and I would still ream them and say, look, you know the stakes, you know the world we live in. Let's not cost yourself game checks and get suspended and get in some turmoil. It sucks we live in that world, but you have to contain yourself. You're a celebrity. You're a person that people look up to, all that. So I get you got to contain and say, this sucks that we live in this world, but we do, and recognize it. But there's no excuse for what happened in this game. No excuse.
Sorry. I was going to say, I think you were trying to compare it to, I think it was Lamar Jackson that did that stuff last year that grabbed that fan. I'm not sure what he got out of that deal.
Well, there was a difference because he struck Lamar's head, I think, or something. Something happened, if I remember correctly, where he hit him on the helmet. And so he pushed the fan, which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying you should put yourself in those positions or even tempt the NFL to do something, but like that was okay. This is different. This guy, DK walked up to this guy, almost pulled him off the railing, and then whatever. I don't care if it was one of these. It wasn't like a knock his hat off type of thing. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous that anybody's defending this. I'll be honest. You're trying to defend something that's out of the realm of the context of this thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, you couldn't do it at any job.
No.
Let go right away.
That's the point. You can do it. Do I think you should be able to, like, let me make it very clear. Do I think he should be able to do this on the streets? Yes. But you can't. You still can't. But do I think that we should live in the, like, do I wish I lived in the Wild Wild West days a little bit? You know, I kind of do.
In the Northwoods.
Yeah, I kind of do. But you know, you can't stray. It doesn't matter what's said. It doesn't matter what's said. It doesn't matter if he says the worst things in the world to him, his mom, his grandma and grandpa that passed. It doesn't matter. There's nothing you can say that the Apple employee should be able to strike the back of the head or open fist push it smacks someone in the face, even with an open hand, in the Apple store because they say something even remotely disgusting to the person. You just say, you need to leave. That's if you want to work there. Do you understand the context? Not you, New Age, but if you want to work there, if you want to continue working there, you can't do that.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Like that's the debate. Anybody saying, well, should he be able to if he said this word or that word? No. Like, could he on the streets? Yes. Could he, if he wanted to not work in the NFL anymore? Sure. If he wants to do that, I approve it. But if he expects to work there, if he expects to be in the NFL, you can't. Like, it's that simple. It's that simple.
Yeah, that's just like Alvin Kamara when he had his thing. He was off the field, but it still affects everything because you're always under employment or working for the NFL when you're part of them.
And anybody trying to defend DK Metcalf, you're going down the wrong road. Is some of you saying, well, what should the fan have repercussions? If the fan was saying vile, disgusting, horrible things that were outside the lines of the most disgusting things, the worst words, even if it was geared towards certain type of person, a race, whatever, in the stadium heard it, let's say, yeah, I think they should escort that player out, and you're not allowed to have season tickets anymore, or you're not allowed to enter the facility. So yes, I defend that side too. But in no way should a player ever be able to strike a fan from a business perspective and play for that organization or the NFL until they go through tons of hoops. You make them go suspended for the year. For the year. You have to set a precedent. You cannot have a Ron Artest situation going on. When they rushed if anybody remembers that basketball game where they rushed up into the stands and started just melee, it was fun. It was entertaining as fans. It was like, I loved watching it. But you can't have that. You can never have that again. Ever.
Yep, new day, new era, that's for sure. But I'll leave with this. I was going to say, just look at your best ball team. This could be the year where you're on the opposite side now, where Brian Robinson comes in and does it for you instead of CMC getting sacked.
Yeah, hopefully.
So you're in a good area on that one. I would like it.
Yeah. All right, appreciate you, New Age. Later. There's video proof that he did. Good, Tyler. I don't know why you're trying to defend DK Metcalf so bad, Tyler. It's embarrassing. Stop. Like, you want the fan to get kicked out of the stadium forever? Sure. You have video evidence and verbal audio recorded of him saying the most vile things that are outside of the realm of, oh yeah, you suck, DK, or you're like, that's fine. None of that heckling. You don't get knocked out of a stadium or kicked out for heckling a player. But if it's vile, disgusting things, sure, you want to talk about that. I don't even know what the line would be, but let's just say he crossed the line that you set up or whatever, then yeah, escort him out. But guess what? That's not happening now, Tyler. This fan 100% is going to be in the right the rest of this way because DK Metcalf crossed a line that he should not cross. All right, let me hit this super chat here. Melvin, appreciate you. Yesterday, I asked who to start between Mac Hollins and Down, and it went Hollins and got me more than 6 points. Now I'm going to the chip. Who was it, Mac Hollins or Downs? That's right. You said Down. Okay, or Downs. Great job, bro. Great job, Melvin. I don't know. That was a tough call. I think the chat voted. I forget what the chat decided, but that was like a crapshoot. So congrats. Nice work on that one. Anyway, we'll be back. Good for you, Tyler. Good for you, Tyler. Tyler's saying he would have done the same thing. Well, good for you, Tyler. Hopefully you don't have a job that you love. Because it's not the right move. Not at your place of employment, Tyler, but I wish you luck. Yeah, Pittsburgh is cooked now. This is just a stupid decision by DK Metcalf. Just pure stupidity. And now you have this organization sitting there going, man, Did we ever make the wrong call? DK Metcalf over George Pickens. What a disaster. What a huge mistake. We'll be back for a news show. Don't you worry. We'll be back at 8 p.m. Well, a little bit before 8 p.m. Eastern because the game kicks off and I want to be live at least like a half hour to 45 minutes before. I'll see you all on the flip side. Appreciate every single one of you. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live whenever big news breaks. We got a lot of other news kicking in. Lots of news to go over, so hang tight. Live whenever big news breaks. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. Deuce. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you, my Rumblers. I got Brett over on Rumble, Turbo, and Cobbler. DK's the GOAT. Okay. All right, Prophet, you got 10 seconds because I got to go.
Hey, I just want to let everybody know that the stick around off season is fire, guys. Man, I'm telling you, I enjoy it. I've been watching every single day for about 16 months now, man. My wife thinks I'm crazy. She's like, "Is that the bald dude with the glasses?" I'm like, "Yeah," but man, I appreciate everything, man.
All right.
And hopefully I bring home the 2 chips.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Later, bro. All right, we're out of here now. Thank you all for the super chats. $20 haulers from Prophet with the $100. Prophet, that was you, right? Prophet, call back in real quick. I didn't realize that was you for the drop the $100 hauler. Caleb with the $20 hauler. Thank you, Caleb. Prophet with the big 100. I didn't realize that was the same one. It said Prophet on here. We got a couple Prophets. But I think that was Big Prophet. Call back in real quick, Big Prophet. I just want to thank you again. Up 9 against JT. I have Pinera left. Up 9 against JT. I mean, I'd say I'd rather have JT, but it's like 60-40. Probably like a 60% likelihood type of thing, you know? If you were looking at a projection. 60% likelihood, I would say. Yeah, all season is going to be amazing. Prophet, you there? Dial in again real quickly. I think that was the same Prophet. Dial in again real quick, bro. Thank you all for the super chats and the good conversation. Look, this topic is obviously getting under some people's skin. I don't know why. I'll be honest. I'm kind of baffled, but because it's about business. It's not about personal, feelings. DK should have every right to defend himself, and I believe we should live in that world where you could, defend yourself on the streets, or like this is a world where if like some bystander's getting like pushed around, that if you were to like go intervene, you could like be in trouble. You could be in cuffs because you got involved by protecting an innocent person, and it's like that's a despicable world we live in. I think where you can't do things like that, but we're talking about the Apple Store scenario. We're talking about DK Metcalf can do whatever he wants, but should he be employed when he's doing it if he's doing that? No. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Tyler keeps trying to defend, but what if he said this? Doesn't matter, Tyler. Doesn't matter what he says. 0.000% of you, if you want to work for said employer, should put your hands on the customer. like if the customer is not striking, like it's different if like let's say you see those TikToks where the lady's like yelling and screaming at the employee and the employee doesn't do anything wrong, and then they'll throw coffee on them or swing at them. Yeah, go for it. That's not this situation. This was verbal. DK made it physical. DK shouldn't play. DK should get more than 2 games, plain and simple. From a business perspective, we're not talking about on the streets of Seattle. We're not talking about in a bar. We're not talking about where you get out of a car in a road rage incident. I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm talking about business. Prophet, is this? Are you the same Prophet that dropped the 100? I just want to make sure.
Yes, sir. This Big Prophet. What's up, Smitty?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the hundo. You're the man, the myth, the legend. We had a couple Prophets. There's Big Prophet. There's he's not Little Prophet, but he's Little Prophet compared to you. So appreciate you, bro.
Hey, no problem, bro. Hey, I'm not trying to like drag it out, but check out this fire ass team, dude, if you don't mind. This is the team that won me big money this year. I got T-Law, Paul Bucky, St. Brown, Jamar Chase, Drake London, Harold Fannin, George Pickens, Harvey, and I had Mahomes as my super flex, but he went down. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that is, and this crazy part is it hasn't even fired off all at once yet. like you got a lot of oil in there, and you're still doing it. So good job, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I love the show, dude, man. And I know a lot of us do. You know, sometimes we get a little emotional. You know, I know you try to do your best, help us all out, man, and whether you're right or you're wrong, we know that you got our best interest and you're doing a damn good job. And I don't think anybody can do a better job than you, bro.
I appreciate it, though.
Man,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And hopefully we can get Denny and Gump back up in the off season to get the comedy rolling, man. They always got me rolling up in the off season, man. That's funny, them guys.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know where Denny and Gump are. Let's put them up on the Batman. Gump.
We got it.
I don't know.
Otter Gump. Figure out where they at. Maybe Denny in AA.
I don't know.
He sounds like he's obliterated.
Gump retired. I think Gump retired from trucking, and then we haven't seen him yet. But let me put both of them up here on the Batman, the Bat Signal. But we're looking for.
Yeah. Gump's balling out of control. Remember, he's like out by the pool drinking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Drinking martinis or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sounding like someone time, but he can't even figure out how to buy chicken.
No, he'll never buy the chicken. He'll never. All right. Hey, later, Big Profit. Appreciate you, bro.
Later, bro.
All right, I'm out of here this time. Appreciate every single one of you. We got to get Denny back. Gump, we don't know where they're at. All right, see you for the 8 p.m. show. I'll be here a little early.